act of the night? No? Okay, here's how a comedy show, when I ask a question like that, you go, yeah! We paid $15 for us to be that. Are you guys ready for your first act of the night? Yeah! Absolutely, you guys are awesome. A good friend of mine, I've worked with him in Calgary and Vancouver and Quesnel. He lives in Quesnel, a very funny man, you're going to love him. Please put your hands together, show some love for Mr. Tom Bassett, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Tom!
Off to a great fucking start, am I? Hey, Prince George, glad to see you here tonight. You really packed the place. I'm from Quesnel, the little town down the road. I'm sure you've drove through. That's what everybody does, you just drive through. While you're driving through, you might stop and have a cup of coffee at Tim Hortons. At which time you'll realize we have one of the only Tim Hortons in Canada that doesn't have a drive-through. But I'm okay with that, because if you drive a block south of the main drag, you'll find a liquor store with a drive-through. My kind of town. We got another liquor store over the west side, in the hood, that takes Canadian Tire money. That's right. No shit, you're not broke yet. Now, where else can you buy a snowblower or a lawnmower, cash in your Canadian Tire money, get drunk enough to take your foot off all in the same day? My town. That's right. It's a rough little town. There's not a lot for the young guys to do, so they like to drink and fight, right? But it's not just Quesnel. When young guys hit a certain age, they got to go downtown and try out their hand-to-hand combat skills with somebody that's as equally fueled with testosterone and whiskey as they are. The good news is you get over it. And you know when you get over it? Right about the time you realize that even when you win, it fucking hurts. I wake up one morning, I got a big black eye, I can't look at it. I got a busted hand I can't even wipe my ass with. And a real foggy recollection of the night before. So I phoned my buddy Scotty, he was the bouncer at the place I was drinking at. He said, Scotty, what the hell was I fighting about? He says, the usual, defending the honor of a whore. Now, I'm not the only one that's done that, come on now. But I still like to stay in shape, I go to the gym. These young guys in the gym will harass me about the amount of gray I have in my beard these days. I'm 54 years old and I've earned every goddamn one of them gray hairs. I turned double nickels in a couple weeks, and 55 is here. But I told him, hey, I've heard lately that some women think a little bit of gray sexy. Actually, I've heard that about 50 shades of gray turns them right on. That's what I heard. Hey, am I right here? Yeah. Damn it, ladies, you finally get us guys trained. We got all our smut books in a cardboard box out in the garage, and then you bring that stuff in, eh? A buddy of mine says, well, have you read it? Hell no, I'm a guy. I'm waiting for the movie to come out. But I gotta tell you, if I'm going through the porn section looking for a little bit of material for the old spank bank, 50 Shades of Grey is not popping out at me. No, they gotta do something about that name. So I tell you a bit about myself. I'm a family man. I got a wife and 3 kids. Now my wife and I, we lived together for 8 years. We split up for a year, got back together, got married, and had kids. So basically I'm looking at a life sentence with a year off for bad behavior. Yeah. And when you get married, that doesn't change anything. You know, you're still the same 2 people getting up every morning. When you have kids, everything changes. That's when everything changes. Like, you wouldn't know what to look at me now, but I used to be cool. Yeah, no, okay, they mock me, but it's true. There was a time I was cool. I used to drive around town in a candy apple red Corvette Stingray, 69 427 Stingray. I was cool, man. My hair blowing in the breeze, T-roofs off. 3 kids later, I'm in the driver's seat of a goddamn minivan. That's right, I went from rock star to Aerostar, that damn fast. That's what happens, yeah. I got 2 daughters. 2 beautiful daughters. You know that's payback for some shit I did down the road somewhere, don't you? Yeah. And when you have daughters, they wrap you right around their little finger. You know? And one of the things, when you have 2 daughters, you don't realize things that you didn't even know would happen. Like that all 3 women in your house will be cycling at the same time of the month. Nobody tells us about that. No, don't even write it on a can wall or something. I come home one day, I look at my wife, hey darling, how you doing? Okay, I know those eyes, you can see it in the eyes. And I look at my daughter doing homework and say, hey darling, how you doing? Holy Jesus, she's got the eyes. And I hear my daughter coming up the stairs, thump, thump, thumping. Hey Bailey, darling, how you doing? Holy Jesus, they're all riding the cotton pony at once. I said, where's my son? Where's Jack? What have you done with him? He says, he's in his room. I said, oh, I'll bet he is. I walk in, he's cowering in the corner. I said, buddy, what's up? He says, I don't know, I come home from school. Mom gave me a smack as soon as I got off the bus. She said, Bailey kicked my ass. Shelby gave me a swat. I didn't even do nothing. I said, I know where you're coming from here, buddy. I said, we got to stick together on this. He said, what are you going to do? I said, just follow my lead, buddy. He comes out, hiding behind my leg. I said, Jack and I are going to the pool. Anybody else want to come? Yeah. The wife says, what about supper? I said, we'll get something from McDonald's. Come on, let's go, buddy. She said, what about your strip? Your trunks? I said, we'll find something at the lost and found. Come on, buddy, let's go. She said, when are you coming back? I said, oh, give me 2-3 days tops, we'll be back. And with daughters, when they're young, it's cool. You can tell them anything and they believe it, right? My little girl's about this big, and I say, come home from work, she got this crumpled up piece of paper she handed me. She says, Daddy, I got my letter from Santa Claus. Read it to me, Daddy. So I take this crumpled up piece of paper. I say, Dear Shelby, who the hell do you think you are asking for all that stuff? You've been bad all year. You fight with your cousins, you fight with your mom and dad. I'm not bringing you nothing. She snatched it out of my hand and says, you don't know how to read. Nana read it and it says nice stuff. Yeah, you can mess with them back then. But they get you back. She was only about this big. I caught her saying a bad word. I said, try to outsmart her. I said, you think some boy's going to want to kiss that filthy mouth of yours? She looked at me and smiled and said, so what makes you think one hasn't already? Like a knife through the heart, I tell you, boy. But you try and be the cool dad, right? You want to be the cool dad. You know what that gets you? That gets you having the grad party at your place. How does that get you? Yeah, 120 drunken grads staggering around different stages of lust, rage, and remorse. Hormones raging. And about 4 in the morning, these pretty girls that I've known since they were little girls, now they're fine-looking young ladies, come up and say, hey Tom, we're going to the river to go skinny dipping. You want to come? No. I said, oh no, Tom, it's okay. You're not like the other guys. You're cool. No. They got another name for guys who do that. It's not cool. Yeah. She comes to me one day and she says, Dad, I want to get a belly button ring. Well, I'm thinking, save no for the big stuff. This ain't a big deal, right? Go ahead, get your belly button ring. So she comes home, she's showing off this little belly button ring. What do you think, Dad? I said, well, for starters, if you're going to wear a belly button ring, you got to shave that crab ladder. And you realize why women started getting belly button rings in the first place. She says, why? I said, well, so they have some place to hang their air freshener in the summertime and the mistletoe at Christmas. You thought it was a lot funnier than she did, I'll tell you that right now. But I thought it was funny, so I went to this buddy of mine at work, I'm telling the story, and he looks me straight in the eye and says, yeah, my daughter got a piercing too. Oh yeah, what'd you get? She got a stud in her tongue on. Oh, really? What'd you do that for? She says, yeah, that's what I asked her. She told me, well, I got one that vibrates and another one that glows in the dark. Oh, that's not what a dad wants to hear. So I tried to console the guy, right? I said, well, sounds like she got the birth control thing under control anyway. Yeah, this is a great crowd tonight. You know what I like in a crowd? I like to see a bachelorette party. I always love a bachelorette party. A bunch of pretty girls showing off their friend with a little tiara on. I was doing a show up in northern Alberta. It was a bachelorette party. Well, I'm not even going to call it a bachelorette party. This thing was a hag stag, okay? I got a half a dozen big, beefy broads down the front row, drunker than shit. The bride-to-be weighing in at about 260 in tight pants. Now, I've seen camel toes and I've seen loose knuckles. This was a catcher's mitt, okay? And she's got the one mouthy broad down on the end. Can't keep her mouth shut, eh? Oh yeah, short, chunky broad wearing a tight black dress that makes her look like a stack of inner tubes. And she looks like me, like she wants to give me a hard time about the way I look. She said, you look like you just got out of jail. Well, I take offense to that. I didn't just get out. But I figured, hey, let's do some banter back and forth here. I mean, usually I don't like to banter because you might get a newfie. Eh? And then you start bantering with a newfie, you got a 50-50 shot he's going to be funnier than you. But I'm looking at this broad, and I can tell the only test she's ever passed in her life was a pregnancy test. So I said, okay, time for a little good-natured banter. So I look at her and say, boy, you sure got small tits for a fat chick. Whoosh, the shot glass goes flying over my shoulder. You know who else likes to give me a hard time? Is bald guys. I don't know why. They don't like me. I walk into a room full of bald guys, I may as well be Mr. Bojangles tap dancing to a KKK meeting. Yeah. The worst is when I get a boss that's bald. He's got to take it out of me. I got this little prick of a bald boss, and he's a jerk all week, and then he finds out me and the boys are playing pool on Friday night after work. So he comes down to the bar, grabs his cue and starts shooting pool. What the hell are you going to do? You can't smack him, it's your boss, you get fired. 3 weeks in a row he pulls this off. The third week, I got to do something. I've had enough of this little shit. So I wait till he goes to put his coat on, I wait to take his cue apart, gonna leave. I walk over and do one of these, right over his shoulder. Leave 5 or 6 long curly hairs hanging on his shoulder before he puts his coat on. And he leaves. So he gets out the door, I phone his wife. Yeah, hello, is Terry there? I said, no, he's down at the bar shooting pool with the guys from work. I said, no, he's not. He keeps saying he's going to come down and join us. This is the 3rd week in a row he said he was going to come. He hasn't showed up yet. But if he shows up, you tell him we said hi. He comes about 5 minutes later. She looks at him and says, where the fuck were you? He says, down at the bar shooting pool with the guys from work. That's when he took his coat off. She spots a long curly hair hanging on his shoulder. He has to spend a week on a buddy's couch with a big lump on his head, and he don't come drinking with us anymore because he says we're a bunch of assholes. That's my time tonight. Thank you very much, folks.